Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have another brand new Mattel Jurassic World figure to take a look at. Not too many coming out right now. It's been a little slow recently, but we have had a few Danger Packs recently released with the Ornithocheirus, and now this is the brand new version of the Velociraptor that came out at the same time as the Ornithocheirus. And again, it's not anything super impressive, incredible, and amazing as it is just a Velociraptor, but it's kind of fun looking, sort of, I think. But you can see, as far as the packaging goes, pretty much your standard. And then once we turn it around here to the back, you can see all of the figures that are in this wave of Danger Packs, all of which we have now reviewed on the channel, except for, of course, this Velociraptor. So let's pop this out of the box and check it out. So here is our Velociraptor now out of the box and looking kind of cool, you know. It's not terrible, definitely not one of Mattel's best Velociraptors so far, but it's kind of interesting at least. Of course, it's another one of those instances where more paint would have been better, because if we had some of this darker tone running out and continuing to run through the course of the underside, I think it could have been a pretty fun looking raptor for sure. But the, fact that we don't have that going on, of course, just presents us with somewhat of a lazy looking figure. But again, at the same time, it's kind of an interesting looking version of a raptor. I don't think it's going to be on anybody's, list of the top 10 best raptors that Mattel has released, because there are so many, but it's also, I don't think, going to be one of the worst. Well, maybe. I mean, it's definitely not that great, but it's not terrible, but it's not great. Either way, let's jump to a closer look at it right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the Raptor, you can see again that head sculpt is pretty much your standard when it comes to a Mattel Velociraptor. And as a whole, the sculpt definitely doesn't seem to be anything that's new or crazy, amazing. Nothing that is really worth going over or mentioning, because it looks like it's the same sculpt we've had many times already from Mattel. So nothing really new or, innovative as far as that goes. So what we really need to go over would just be the paint apps for the figure. And as you can see, when it comes to those paint apps, we have this light tone, almost like bordering on a mixture of like a tan, yellow, green. I'm not really sure what color you would term this, but you have that for pretty much the majority of the body color. And then on top of that, you also have a dark gray kind of at play here. As you can see, we have a dark gray that starts right here up in the top of the snout and kind of leads back through the eye socket and then kind of trails off behind it before disappearing. And we also have that same grayish tone here for the lower jaw. Now this is kind of interesting, because most times when you see dinosaurs, you usually see them with a darker tone on top, lighter tone on the underside, whereas this time it's kind of flip-flopped, and we have the darker tone on the underside, lighter tone on the top. On top of those colors, you can also see there is kind of like that speckling that we often get from Mattel, so that's nice to see that that's added in as well. The eye is painted with a yellow, and it looks pretty sloppy if you ask me. You've got just a gray for the pupil rather than a black, so that is, of course, a little bit of a bummer. But you can see the inside of the mouth has just the tongue sculpted and painted in there, and you can also see that the skin there on the side of the mouth that's stretching is also painted, and then the back of the throat, but the inside of the mouth on the upper side is not painted. However, all the teeth seem to be painted pretty nicely, They're all, for the most part, looking pretty good. No real sloppiness or anything. And, of course, that articulated jaw works very nicely. You also, of course, have articulation here in the neck region, which I always love this articulation on the Raptors from Mattel. I feel like it is just some of the smoothest neck articulation you'll see anywhere, and always very impressive. As you move down through the course of the body, you can see again that dark gray continues to run down, that lighter tone continues to run up. You can see that the darker tone leads through the course of the stomach and kind of designs up here briefly in the center of the stomach region, but the arms remain that lighter tone that we have up there on the upper side. As you lead out to the hands, you can see there is no paintwork for the nails, which is pretty common. And then as we lead back here, you can see the legs are that dark gray, and as you lead down, the legs don't really have any other coloration to them, just that dark gray. The nails are also the dark gray, but they have kind of been given a little bit of a glossy look, sort of like a satin shine. So it differentiates them a little bit, kind of gives them the appearance of almost having nail paint, but, not in a great way. They could have painted them black or something, or even darker gray or even a lighter gray, and it would have made a little bit of a difference, I think. But as you lead back here, you can see that that darker gray disappears right there in like the groin region. As we lead back, then the rest of the figure is just that light tone. No real color difference outside of the speckling going on here through the rest of the figure. And if we take a look over here, you can see the eye is yet again kind of sloppy looking on this side as well. So definitely not the best paintwork from Mattel, also not the best paint scheme from Mattel, but I guess it could be worse. You know, we have had some pretty bad paint apps on the Raptors in the past. Oh, here we go, it's on this side. But there's the Jurassic Facts app code if you would like to add this one to your collection. But again, regardless, it's kind of fun, you know, I sort of like it, but at the same time, it's definitely not any kind of a crazy, amazing Raptor that everyone needs to run out and grab right away. Also, the other articulation we have on the figure, of course, are the arms and legs, and they only go forward and back. They do not come out away from the body like some Mattel figures do. And then you also have the swivel in the tail for the Raptor. Interestingly enough, my tail looks like it may have been upside down that entire time. I guess that's how it was in the packaging originally, but you can see again, it's a pretty okay Raptor, just not really anything amazing. I don't think we need to do measurements or comparisons or anything like that because it's just another Mattel Raptor, and we've had so many at this point. I think we've already got a pretty good idea as far as all of that information. So this brand new Mattel Jurassic World Dino Trackers Danger Pack Velociraptor is okay. You know, it's definitely not great. I think there's a good chance this may be the last Dino Trackers figure in the line overall, because I would imagine we're going to be moving on to Epic Evolution after this, so that may be the last one that we see as far as the Dino Trackers go, which is, you know, hopefully we'll get more like tracking gear or even like capture gear or something in the future. I would love to see that stuff. I've been really loving that included with the Dino Trackers line, but again, you know, you got to move on eventually. You can't stick with the same thing forever, so I'm pretty psyched for the Epic Evolution line. Regardless, as far as this Raptor goes, it's okay. It's nothing amazing, nothing really to write home about. It's just your pretty much standard, usual Velociraptor sculpt from Mattel. No resculpt or anything like that I can tell. And the paint scheme is not really anything memorable. You know, I don't think that years down the road anybody's going to be like, do you remember that one awesome looking Danger Pack Raptor we had? I just don't feel like that's going to happen as far as this one goes. It's got an okay looking paint scheme and some people may like it, but at the same time, again, it has very little, minimal paintwork to it. You know, there's just not much. We really only have 2 tones of color outside of the eyes and the inside of the mouth, and one of those 2 tones of color does not even run all the way out through the course of the body, so it's not anything amazing, not even really all that flashy, but at the same time, the colors at least play off of each other nicely, and it's kind of an okay-looking Raptor, just not one that I would say everybody needs to grab right away when we already have probably like 150 other Raptors out. But regardless, if you are interested, you can head to your local Walmart, because that is where this one was found. I want to give a huge shout-out and a thank you to my good friend Matthew, who was kind enough to actually hook me up with this and, you know, help me add this one to my collection. And he also sent me another gift, which was a one of those amber Tyrannosaurs, the Pop Funko figures. I've actually been looking for that recently, and I didn't even mention it to him, and he just was kind enough to grab one and send it my way. So I do want to give a huge, massive shout out and a thank you to him for that, you know, kind gesture, as well as hooking me up with this Raptor. So if you are interested, again, head to your local Walmart. Should hopefully be there now, if not very soon. And like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.